Ah,
Hai Godan. Hai Dimas. Teman-teman ini,
record dong.
huh? Am I recording?
Udah.
Are you recording? I'm
Yes.
recording.
Oke.
Udah beres ya?
Dah. Kedengeran?
Kedengeran. Halo,
Ya
apa
berasa
kabar?
kayak di kafe.
Di sana gimana?
Hmm?
Di sana gimana? Jam berapa sana ya? Oh, sini udah jam 6, jam 7 ya.
Menuju jam 7.
Siapa aja yang nanti masak?
Ada
Cuman
jam
ada kita
7.
aja. Cuman ada kita aja.
Makan ya.
Oh, makan dulu. Dimas mau makan dulu. Give me time to talk to your mom, okay?
Makan sup.
Makan sup. Oke.
Okay.
Makan sup.
Iya.
First some for your mom. Yeah, don't finish.
Oke.
Bye, darling.
Bye-bye.
Dah.
Makan.
Bye. Bye, sayang. Aku introduce yourself dulu ya, Den ya. Well, everyone, this is my very best friend. I don't know. I call. I don't know. Her name is right there, Alexandra Sutopo, but it's really not really the name that we call, because from high school I would call her Gordon because she lives on Jalan Haji Gordon. So don't be surprised if I call her God or Den. This is how we call each other. And she also has a beautiful name for me as well. So okay, this is actually a very special occasion. I actually am very honored that she is willing to talk to me and to talk to us about life. And we've met back in, when was that? When was
1990,
19 something? Yeah,
90,
yeah,
89.
89. Okay, let me just like
Yeah.
turn off everything here. Okay, so yeah, 19. Okay, then we graduated from high school in 1991. Yeah, so 89. Yeah, that was like long ago. And then we
They're old. Ooh.
ew. Yeah, and then a few years ago we met in Bali again for our 45th birthday. The four of us, you and me and Iam and Mo. So okay, so no secret, we were 45. We were beyond that. So yeah, after that we departed, and then she went to Switzerland, I went to the US, and our other friend went to the Australia, and another one, well, she stays in here in University of Indonesia. And then we came back again, we got back again together with our life. So one thing I want, if you saw Dimas, Gordon's son, he is my godson. So a very dear boy of mine. So if you want, something, I know this story of you, the journey of you and Dimas are just precious to be shared with everyone, because this is not something that, not every woman is strong enough to go through something that you went through. So yeah, if you don't mind telling me the story, so you want to
Oh,
start?
okay. I don't know where to start. Where
Okay.
should I start?
So when was that? When was that? So I heard that you were like so much into diving, right? And then
Yeah.
you went to Morocco, of course, with your boyfriend, right? And
Actually,
then,
I went there myself because
oh,
it
you went there
was
yourself.
actually, yeah, it was actually a job interview that I got back then. I don't know what year was that. I think 2000, 2000, yeah, 2008.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, so this man, who's the father of Dimas, we met through diving because we both have same hobby, and then we got connected from a circle of friends in the diving.
So you
And
met him
then
there? You met him there?
yeah, in Bali.
Oh, in Bali. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So he was having his holiday in Bali, and he went for diving, and then in between, and then we had some social gathering with all these divers. Social
Mm.
meaning like with a lot of booze and fun, and
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
back
Those
then,
old, those
yeah.
old good times. Yeah. Oh, I wish. Yeah.
That's a long time ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, so we got connected and so on. So we chatted the next day, and we keep in touch, and yeah, so the feeling grew there, and then for about I think 3 years, yeah, 3 years.
Oh, that's long.
So yeah, it's quite long.
Oh,
Yeah,
that was
through
fun. Yeah.
long distance and then some meetup as well. So um, yeah, so we met regularly throughout this relationship, and then yeah, and then at one point we decided that okay, we maybe we want to take it into the next step. So it was actually a thought that came up. Yeah, and
Oh, so
then we
you
had
already had a plan to take it to the next level. So you already had
yeah,
that
yeah,
plan.
we did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did.
Oh,
We did.
okay. All right.
So yeah, so we met up, and it was just happened to be on we had this trip on my birthday on in 2008. So yeah, we went to Manado, we stayed there, we dive, we talk more about this plan of ours. And yeah, and it seems like it's going to the right way. Yeah,
Yeah.
back then it was going to the right way.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, then and then we decided then okay, let's what do we do next, and so on and so on. So but we actually have one challenge, which is because he's like pure Chinese and I'm not Chinese. So this is
Mm.
still it's still an issue.
An
Yeah, even
issue.
though
Oh my goodness. Yes.
yeah, I mean, like, even though this year 2020 is sometimes
Mm-hmm.
still an issue where
Mm-hmm.
people think that a Chinese should marry a Chinese, or a Japanese should marry a Japanese, and
Yeah. Yeah.
and so on. So this culture is still very much strong especially in our culture. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so yeah, that was our challenge. And because he was expected to marry a Chinese, of course. So yeah, well, we said okay, so what do you want to do? And we think okay, we just go ahead and we see how it goes. And so then I went to Morocco for a job interview, and I actually got the job. But then um 2 months later, or 3 months later, that I found out that I was pregnant. So then I told him, and I said, okay, but if you're going to Morocco, what do we do? So it was like very confusing moment. Those moments. I mean,
Oh, I can
yeah,
imagine. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, you were there by yourself. Because I was living in Singapore at that time. I
Okay.
was working in Singapore, and then I was thinking like, okay, I got this job in Morocco, but I'm pregnant, and he's not in Singapore.
Yeah.
So it's like everything is like all over the place. What should we do? Like it's like your life being fast forwarded like 10 100 times.
Oh
Yeah,
my
and then
goodness.
you
Yeah.
have to make a decision right then. What do you want to do?
Okay.
So um along the way, like we talk every day, and we're trying to figure out a way what do we do. And it just maybe it's the universe calling, that saying that hey, you're not supposed to get a to be with this man. So somehow along the way, after 2 weeks or 3 weeks, then he decided that I we should break up, even though he knew that I was pregnant. And
And you were
yeah,
willing to keep the baby. You were willing
yeah.
to
And
keep.
I said, okay, if you want to quit this, what we have planned, go ahead. I don't want to be the person that hold onto somebody, and that person is not willing to do it. So why should I push someone to do what they don't want to do? The result is never good.
How old
So
were
I
you? Well,
decided
how old were you when that happened? To 20,
uh
32?
35, 35,
35. Okay. So
35. So it's
you
actually
were mature enough, yeah, to make our own decisions, right? You've had your
yes,
beautiful job
yes.
in Singapore. Yeah. Okay.
And I actually got an offer, but then I have to turn it away because I can't go there, being pregnant, and it's going to be very a lot of hassle, and you
Oh
can't
my.
be starting a new job when you're pregnant. It's just
Yeah.
simple as that. It's an
Right.
ethical code where you don't
Yeah.
take that job. So then, yeah, I had to turn it down, and they were like very, very sad, very
Disappointed, of course.
disappointed. Oh, and they were asking me why. I said, well, I have to be honest so that they don't feel that I'm ditching them. So I told them the truth that yeah, I just found out I'm pregnant, so I can't go. Then then they appreciated my honesty, and then
Mm-hmm.
okay, let's keep in touch. Maybe in the future we can work together again. So anyway, so it's it's a closed case. So it's like, okay, bye bye. It was such a beautiful property. It's such a
Oh my
huge
goodness. Yeah.
property for a spa and wellness director, and the spa itself is like really
No.
big, really, really big. So
Yeah.
it was like a dream job, but then okay, fine. I just have to stay in Singapore, and or it's close to Indonesia. So if anything, I can still fly back to Indonesia. So
Mm-hmm.
and then so he decided to walk away from this agreement, and then said, okay. I said to myself, okay, he's walking away. What do I do? I have my family is back in Jakarta, and I'm working there by myself, and I was starting to spin my head very fast. What should I do? And those moments are, I could consider maybe one of the darkest moment of life, where I really didn't know what to do. Really, really, I didn't know what to
Whom,
do,
whom, whom
and
did
I
you
got
live with? Were you living by yourself?
well, I
Who were
shared
you
I
from?
shared an apartment with someone, so I had a flatmate, but she's not really a good friend to talk to. I mean, we're
Okay.
not that close.
Okay.
She's always busy, and yeah, and we have also very different interests and so on. So I couldn't really connect with her. Just
So
casual talk is okay, but
in the beginning, who were actually your good and close friends that you could actually share things with? I mean, I know that one must be
um,
very tough.
I didn't have any actually.
Wow.
I didn't have any. So at that point, I
Where
was
was I?
really
I
feeling
was
that.
here, yeah. I was here, but we didn't really talk, right? I mean, that
Yeah, when that year we even didn't know each other's number. I think because
exactly. There
we
was like there
changed
was
numbers.
before
There's a
the
moment where
internet.
we all gone.
We're all gone. We're all like we spread it. We spread it apart, and then we just like
Yeah,
yeah, I know. Yeah. Oh my God.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah,
that,
yeah.
and then
The waiting for
I
the
don't know
Friendster and
who.
so
I
there
don't
was
I don't remember who did I talk to first. I think it was my sister Yvonne.
oh, okay.
So she was the first one that I told about about the pregnancy, and about the father that left, and so on and so on. So she said, "Okay, what do you want to do?" I said, "I don't know. I really don't know what to do." Because my sister, even though she's 2 years younger, she has back then she has two kids already, two daughters. One
Okay.
is 8 years old, and the other one is 2 years old back then. Yeah, now they are 20 something.
And she was in
So
Germany by then, yeah? She was in Germany.
was it in
Oh,
Germany
was
or
she
in
in
China?
Shanghai
No, in
or
China.
she was
In
in China? Yeah,
Shanghai.
she was in
They were
Shanghai.
in
Yeah, right,
Shanghai.
right. Yvonne
So
was in Shanghai, right? Okay, okay.
so we talk a lot. Well, I was really, because I really had no idea what to do, and in the meantime I still have to work. Working in Singapore is very tough, because it's not just emotionally you're being um, challenged, but also physically.
Of course.
I know that I physically I'm strong enough, but with the change of your don't laugh.
I know you have no belly button. You don't know the meaning of tire somewhere and anything. You have no belly button.
Yeah, I still have to run catching up the bus. Even though I was like 5 months pregnant, I ran after the bus because I almost missed the bus, and I went for rollerblading and things like that.
My
So
God, let me ask you one thing. Didn't you even consider abortion by then?
um, I don't know. I didn't even I didn't think about it, but it was suggested to me. Um, but then I think, why would I do that? I mean, I'm mature enough, I'm big enough, I have good earnings, I can actually raise someone. Yeah, but that's like financially or physically, but emotionally I wasn't really sure. So I was really like thrown back and forth. I was at
Mhm.
the point where I thought that maybe I should just kill myself and get this over with.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
had
I
that, even
can
that
imagine.
thought.
Of
Yeah,
course.
and then yeah,
Wow.
just it just happened that the apartment that I rented back then was just behind a church. It was a quite a big Catholic church. So
Was it the
yeah,
one that I went to that I stayed at for a while
no,
when I
no,
borrowed?
no,
Oh, the other one. Okay.
the yeah, before that, because
Not in. Okay.
Yeah, that's because the that apartment that I rented back then, it was behind a church in Central, so it's very near to Orchard and so on. So very
Oh,
near
okay.
to work as well.
Mm-mm.
So I could actually walk to work if I wanted to. So yeah, so at that lowest point of my life, I had a thought of not aversion, but just to end the life altogether.
Oh my
Just to end it
goodness. Of
all.
course.
So
Oh my
yeah,
God. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Of
it was
course. Yeah.
it was yeah. If I look back, I was what I thought or what I went through. I really think that it was actually a bless that I lived there because that church, even though I'm not very religious, that church really saved my life and his life. I mean, Dimas' life, because when I really walked down, because it was a bit going up to the hill. When I walked down from the apartment, passing the church, like really have the thought to really just end this everything, and then somehow I made a turn into the church. Somehow, I don't know what made me that way. Maybe it was the church bell, or maybe I don't know. It was there wasn't any mass. It was just empty. But the door of the church is always open. So I just went in there. I sat down in the back of the row and then sat there, and then just for a
Because you
while
were not alone.
I
Because
was
Dimas was with you. Yeah. So you were not alone.
yeah.
So that's
So
another power that was like keeping you sane, possibly.
insane. Not
Yeah.
insane, keeping you sane, yeah.
Keeping you sane. Yeah.
So yeah, I was sitting there, and then for a while I was really quiet and really like my mind went blank. I didn't have any thoughts, nothing. So it just slowly just tears starting to roll down,
Oh
and
my goodness.
really, and then suddenly it just like it's like you're being, after you pour all your heart out, you cry. That's how I felt at that time. So I really like crying, not like sobbing and making so much noise. It's just the tears won't stop.
Non-stop.
It's just like a waterfall.
Was it really
So
the first time you could actually cry? The first time you could finally
um,
cry hard, or
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
oh,
Even when he said that, okay, let's end this, and we don't want to continue the relationship just because we were having so much challenge. So I didn't really, I cried, but not really like until I was really you know uh, out of breath. So but this time I cried really until I felt like I couldn't breathe anymore. Like things like being chucked out from my
of
my
course.
my heart. Like yeah. So I was there for inside that church for a while, and then I don't know how long because I wasn't wearing watch, nothing. I didn't bring my phone. So and then I went back, and then the funny thing, there's a funny thing there because I went down without thinking. I didn't bring the key. So I couldn't I couldn't
You
go
couldn't
back to my
come in
apartment. I had to wait outside.
for
I
your
think that's a
roommate to open
punishment
that door for you.
until she come back because she went for a drink. She went for a gathering with her friends. So I
So
was
you
like,
were just like waiting at the
yeah.
porch.
I was like sitting outside
That
in the
was Bart.
dark.
Did you cry again?
No, I wasn't. I was. I was just damn stupid, you Lala.
It's
So
a good,
stupid.
yeah, it's
Why
a good
didn't you
memory.
bring your key?
Oh my God. But how was your relationship like with your mother? I mean, in time like that, don't you think that you needed your mother the most? I mean, wouldn't she be the person that would understand you? As a, oh, yeah, and
Um.
in addition to your sister, of course.
Yeah. Well, because of I think maybe the big gap of our generations and the way she brought up when she was little. She was a very strict Catholic
Amen
person. So
here. Hmm.
yeah, so you know how it feels. Yeah,
Yeah,
so everything has to be by the book.
exactly.
Everything has to be by the book, by the Bible. It has to be on rules. So when things go outside of the rules, for her, it's something that's very unacceptable. It
It's
throw
better not to
her
talk
out
to
of
her.
her balance. Yeah, it throw her out from her balance, and it really actually hurt her a lot. So but at one point I had to tell her, and then I did, and of course she didn't talk to me for months, and I said
Mm.
fine, that's expected already,
Yeah.
and she will come back to me whenever she's ready.
Yeah.
So yeah, it took her I think about I think until the day I gave birth, until I went back to Bali to 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 do the labor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
so I keep on living in Singapore. I work and I did all the activities, working, and then on the day off, I just walking around. So I keep myself active and to always have a positive thoughts. And actually, and then I found someone that who can really be supportive towards this period, and she was really helping me a lot and guiding, and she always go with me to church and everything else. So actually, at the end, I found someone who can I can really rely to. So that was actually a good thing.
how did you find it? Okay, because I can imagine that you were like so drowned into your own devastation feeling, right? And then,
Yeah,
but you must have had a moment when you started enjoying your early phase of motherhood, when you started feeling, okay, this is good, this is the right choice.
yes, yeah,
That was the moment when you were still pregnant, before Dimas was even born.
yeah.
When did that happen, and how did that happen?
It happened very quick. Actually, it happened right after that moment where I went into that church. Right then I feel like, okay, this is what I'm going to do. This is my choice, and I will
Mhm.
live to it, and I will make sure that I will do well. So at that moment on, even though I left my key, I couldn't go inside, but that's also maybe where a universe say, okay, don't go in and think about everything else. So I
Yeah.
actually made my planning, made my thinking, and and through all that night, that I think about 3 or 4 hours I was outside. We couldn't go in. So
That was
so
great.
yeah, I really like I made a promise to myself,
Yeah.
saying that I'm going to do well. I'm sure I can. I have the capability physically. I can. I just have to be very strong emotionally and also mentally, so that I can raise this child. So as simple as that. And then everything else is just becomes brighter, becomes lighter, becomes more enjoyable from that moment on. And during that pregnancy,
Wow.
I never had any morning sickness. I never had any problems or
Really?
issue at all. Yeah, it was like
Oh,
very smooth, very, very smooth pregnancy
because
all the
Dimas.
way until labor.
Yeah, well, I can. Well, there are stories about pregnant ladies when they are not really enjoying their pregnancy, and then that would affect the mentality of the kid. And I could see
Yeah.
how Dibas was raised, happily, and when he was just like a kid with lots of laughs and smiles on his face. I mean,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, yeah, I can imagine that. I remember going to Bali right before you give birth to Dibas. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
yes, you
so,
did.
so you
We still
decided
have
to
that pictures.
yeah, I know, and then you decided to give birth in Bali with the water
Yes.
birth, with water birth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why did you choose that? I mean, looking at the situation, you already this must have happened also to other ladies who are actually in less fortunate than you are. I mean,
Mm.
obviously, your concern is more about possibly how your family would look into this, how the society would look into the situation.
Yeah.
But mentally and physically and you're more than capable of raising a child. But then I mean, what made you decide to go back to Bali anyway?
Mm, Before I went to Singapore, I actually worked in Bali for 4 years. I
Mm.
lived here in Bali for 4 years. And during that time, I really felt that Bali is like a different place than anywhere else. It's just, I feel like very at home, very uh, tranquil, very at peace. Even though back then I lived in a very small, squarish room, the kos-kosan.
Mm-mm.
Uh, I think it's only 1.5 meters by 3 or something.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's
really?
quite small. Yeah, it's quite small.
That's
Nothing
tiny.
luxurious. They're
Mm-mm.
very tiny, but I was really happy. I was really enjoying the life. I was enjoying the whole thing. So I didn't think that it was something that bothers me a lot. So it must be something like, I don't know. I found it like it's the energy of this place that really suit suit with my energy. So that's it's like connecting. So when I got pregnant, when I reached I think about month six, I think when I yeah I think that when the pregnancy was 6 months, and one of my friend she gave birth through water birth, and I
Mm.
saw her post on Facebook and everything else. So I said like, oh, that is something that I wanted to do. So I tried to
Yes,
search that
super.
in
My God.
So I tried to search in Singapore. If they must have also somewhere. So I went to different hospitals trying to find out. And apparently in Singapore back then, it was not something that they would suggest.
Okay.
They're trying to divert you away, even though they have the facility. They're trying to divert you away from that. And
Mm-hmm.
even if you choose a water birth, they have so many requirements, so many restrictions, and so on. And also, it costs you double than if
Okay.
you give a normal birth. So I
Mm-mm.
said, why do I have to do this? Like
Yeah.
I think that then I start thinking, is it possible for me to fly to Bali first? That is a big question because when you're at the late stage of your pregnancy, they wouldn't allow you to board on the plane, not even check in even.
Mm-mm.
So I tried to find a way, and then um, so I talked to my friend who did the had the water birth, and then she said it was very pleasant experience. So I got more interested. I really wanted to do it in Bali even. So then I started thinking maybe I should take which airline I should take because they will check on you.
Yeah.
If you're that pregnant like 8 months, it will show very much. Yeah, you can't hide it.
Right.
And especially when you're big, so
It's just
but
there.
actually being big is an advantage
Advantage. Because
because
you're
they
pregnant.
they couldn't tell that I was pregnant. They thought I was just fat. So I board onto that airplane. I was like, oh my god, I got through. I went and sit inside the airplane, the flight. I was sitting on the aisle. And then I was like, oh my god, I made it. I made it into the plane. I didn't stop. It didn't know
Wow.
that I was pregnant. So I was like really nervous. Like my heart was beating 3 times faster because I got scared. If they found out, they
Even
might,
that is an adventure, yeah?
yeah, they will take me, escort me down. I couldn't fly. So
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, okay, just be calm. So I was, what I was wearing? I was wearing a
Regular.
baby doll dress with legging. So it was like all those big people wear, right? And then I think cardigan or jacket, I
Oh my
forgot.
God.
So that's all I was wearing. But yeah, so they thought I was just big, fat.
I still look pregnant. So they don't let me fly.
Exactly. Yeah, so in the plane it's very funny because um behind me and the row next across my row
Mhm.
there were like three kids. It's a big family. They're having a trip together. So I think it was three families, and then there are two mothers escorting them. So they didn't have enough adults to really supervise on each row. So they asked me to do that. They asked me to move to their seat so then I can be at least there's an adult in that row if anything happens. Like there's an
Hmm.
emergency or something. Like, oh my god, if they only found out, they would they would kill me now. Get
Oh
me
my
out of
God.
the plane.
That's a very
I
challenging.
made it through
Oh, 12,
Bali,
2 years and
and
2 hours of flight, right?
yeah, 2 hours, two
2 hours
hours.
of flight.
I think
Pretty
two
intense.
hours 30 minutes something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2.5, yeah.
So and
You
then
made it to
arrived in
Bali.
Bali safely, and I was like, oh my god, I was so nervous. I was so happy that I could reach the
So
airport here in Bali.
Dimas has been into so many adventures when he was even in your tummy, yeah. So many
Yeah,
adventures.
yeah.
You brought him along.
Yeah, so made it to Bali, and then a friend of mine picked me up, and then I stayed with her throughout until the labor, until we were, I think it was because Dimas was born in November.
Yeah.
I flew to Bali. I think it was late October,
Mm-mm.
so I was really like 8 months plus
8 months.
pregnant.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I had about 1.5 months here in Bali until
And then you
Dimas
went
was
back to
very
Singapore after a
and I
while?
went to back to Singapore when Dimas was 1.5 months, so still very tiny.
Very tiny. And I remember
Yeah,
your
and
parents also went there, yeah? Your parents also
Yeah,
never help
so
you out.
when 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 Dimas was born, and I told them that yeah, Dimas is has been born, and then he's healthy, and so I have to give him the news. And then I said, "Do you want to see him?" And of course,
Oh,
my father, my late father, of course said, "Yeah, yeah, I want to." And then my mother couldn't say no, so yeah, I bought ticket for them, and then they flew to Bali, and then of course,
your mother
when you
also? Your
see,
mom also? Your
yeah,
mom went
yeah,
to Bali?
yeah, 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 she went with my
Okay.
father. So
Wow.
of course, when she saw the baby,
She
she
melted.
melt.
Of course, of
She
course.
melted all the
Baby
way through. She
melts
was,
everyone, no matter how tough they are. Babies do.
yeah, exactly. And yeah, so she was so um into the baby. She was like putting him to sleep. She sang to him, and pray for him and things like that. So whenever I wasn't nursing him, so I gave the baby to my mom so that she could really have bonding. And then from then she developed a feeling really strongly with him,
Did
which
it
is good.
even help your relationship with your mom? I mean,
Yeah, of
knowing
course.
as you said before, we have our gap with our parents when our parents are very strict into their own religions, and we've been through something different. So it's very not
Hmm.
easy for them to understand our position and the way we think.
Yeah,
But in this situation with Dimas, did it like rebuild your relationship with your mom?
yeah, very much, very much. And I showed her that hey, I could raise this kid, even though I needed their help back then because I have to work, I have to go back to work. So and hiring a nanny in Singapore is very expensive,
Oh, too
especially
crazy.
those who has the certificate to as a as a nanny. Yeah, because for babies they don't want us to hire just anyone to avoid any accidents or things like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I asked them, I asked my parents, my dad and my mom, I said, do you want to take care of the baby? I mean, they can have a 30 days visa, and after that, before it runs out, they take turns.
Yeah.
So yeah, we did that for how long? Yeah, uh, about 7 months or 8 months.
Oh, wow.
So my mother and my father they take turn
They took turn.
going
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
yeah to
1 month
Singapore.
each
So
person.
yeah, 1 month, 30 days each. So after that, I decided to because I finished my contract, so I decided I should go back to Bali because I feel more at peace and I want to raise this child, in an environment where I feel safe. I feel comfortable. I feel really welcome. Because Singapore, even though you earn a lot, uh, still is not a place where I feel like I'm at home.
Mhm.
I don't feel at peace at all there. So it's
Okay.
just many
So,
things that plays into the
okay, you gave the name Yudhishthira, Dimas,
mm,
Nathanael Dimas
Dimas
Yudhishthira,
Yudhishthira.
right? Okay.
Yeah,
So give
and
me
I
the
gave
reason.
my father last name.
Oh, Sutopo. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Okay. So
So
Yudhishthira is a gambler. What's the story behind? Yudhishthira is one of the five Pandavas. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
but if you really because I love the story of Wayang of
Mm-mm,
Mahabharata, I
mm-mm.
really loved it. So and even though Yudhishthira is a gambler who always lost, but he is very wise. He has this
He's a
wisdom
white.
with
He's
him.
white-blooded. Yeah. He's white-blooded. He's
Um,
one of those who
yes,
has like white blood
yes,
only. Yeah, kan? Right?
yes, yes,
Okay. Okay.
yes.
I
So
don't
he
know how
has
that
this
works.
wisdom, and he he kind of like become the big brother of the other four
Yeah. He's the
Pandavas, and
eldest.
yeah. So he's always the wisest. He has a lot of wisdom, and so I thought that that name would also suitable for this child, where I'm going to bring him up that way with a lot of wisdom, with a lot of yeah, so that he can be someone that look up to one day.
But why would you call him Dimas instead of Yudhishthira? I mean, that's also because
It's a hard name to pronounce, Yudhishthira.
except when you're
you know,
angry. Nathaniel Dimas Yudhistira Sutopo.
that
Famous
will
name
be
and
that
not.
will be very
Yeah, I know,
easy.
I know. And then finish your meal. When you call it very long, it means you're not really
Yeah,
hungry.
yeah, you're in trouble.
Okay, so okay,
Yeah, but
what is the
why
challenge?
I put
Mhm. Go ahead, go ahead.
um first is the Catholic name, the Baptist name, because I don't know how I got that name, but it's just because until my pregnancy was 7 months, it
Mhm.
was suspected to be a girl.
Oh,
The doctor
even the
diagnosed to
doctor said
me,
that.
yeah,
Oh,
because he keep on hiding. He gives the bug on
okay.
me.
Well, yeah,
So
he kept secret
so
very
the doctor
well.
said, yeah, the doctor said, okay, this is a baby girl. So I already have names for a baby girl, like already like really fixed. So I thought, okay, that's it. One job is done because it's a hard job to find a name.
Exactly,
And then
exactly.
when I went for a checkup on 7 months, and the doctor was a bit suspicious. He said that like there's something there. There's something there. It's like what? I was scared because I thought there was something wrong
Oh my God.
with the baby. Like so. Then he started to wiggle the sensor for the ultrasound. He
Yeah.
kept on rolling it back and forth. My child is like, "What are you doing?" Like it's very ticklish, because it's cold and
Oh yeah, yeah,
slimy.
yeah, yeah.
And then I said, no, wait. I said, what? What? And then, it's a boy. I said,
Whoa.
like,
I got
a
surprise, surprise.
boy.
My God.
Like,
So
oh
many
my God, I
surprises
have
in
to
life.
find
Yeah.
another. I said, oh my God, I have to find another name. That's what,
But
that
you,
is
but
my
but
reaction.
you had not bought any like pink whatever. You
No,
hadn't
no,
bought any pink thing.
I haven't bought anything, but a friend of mine already bought a present for me. It was a little blanket with a ladybug on it, and it's pink.
Everything is pink.
That's the only thing that they must have.
So okay, good. Then
So
from okay, Dimas is 11 now. 11, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
it'll
11.
be 12 in
It'll be
November.
12 this November. Wow.
Yeah.
So what I mean, must be a very long journey of you raising him alone. What would
Yeah.
be something that is the most challenging for you that you can possibly remember among thousands of challenges a kid can possibly give us,
Well, there are like a lot of challenges along the way, and there's always like one challenge after the other.
Of
Once
course.
you overcome one challenge, there's another one coming in. It makes life more interesting, makes life more, worth to fight for.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the hardest one, I think, when I couldn't remember when he was about 2 years old, I think, or one and
True.
a half, something like that. Yeah. He doesn't like to eat. So when he have his meal, it would take forever for him to finish
Yeah.
it. So it really, actually, I lost a lot of patience there back then, and because I we already back in Bali and I had to work, and then even though we have a caretaker for him during the day, but at night I try to be as much as possible doing the feeding, give him the dinner and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
So it really pushed me to the limit, thinking like, oh my God, it's going to be this hard to raise a kid. You know,
Mm-hmm.
this kid didn't even want to eat. Like, and well, but I have to um, really, how do you say to myself firmly that you have to go through this. You have to, even if you have to discipline this boy at this age, then you have to do it. So, yeah, I was, I was, and I am still known as a very strict mother,
Oh yeah, we
through
all
my
are.
friends, and yeah, especially for my friends here in Bali. For them, they say, Lala, you're way too strict, you're way too strong. Like,
Hmm.
well, if I don't do that now, I would be in so much trouble when he grew up. I couldn't handle him. So
Hmm.
I wouldn't
Is it
able
because
to
you feel like
handle
you
him.
have to do it on your own? So you really have to
Yeah,
be like,
because yeah, I have to kind of mold him so that he can be independent and I can do my things as well. Providing and working and things like that, and also maybe I could have once in a while me time, without anyone, and So I thought that I have to really start this when he's very young. So back then I really start to put into disciplines, and of course he cried. He well, he challenged
Oh
me a
yeah,
lot.
they
So
hate us. They hate us when we discipline them. So
yeah,
no problem. You can hate us as much as you
you
want.
come back to
We,
us.
yeah, you come
We
back
still
to
love
us.
them.
You come back to us like you have any other
Yeah,
kids
you
anyway.
can hate us, but
Right?
we still love them,
I
and
know we
they
still
come
love
back.
them. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
so yeah, it just takes a lot of strength, a lot of effort as well. And but then we finally, find our balance, and life goes on. Of course, another challenge coming in, and yeah, we just have to live by the day. You take on the challenge one each at time. You just don't try to overcome everything at all at once, because then you get burnt out. Then you can't do much, and then everything will be not as what you wanted, and that's very
apparently,
dissatisfied.
lots of mothers who actually can do both jobs as a father and the mother, right? But I mean, how do you balance his understanding of his father? Of course, knowing you, I know that you will not say anything bad about his father. And
Mm.
but how do you put him in the picture? Just so that Dimas can understand um, without hating him or without despising you even. How do you balance that?
Well, that's uh, we actually, I mean, I started very early when he was still very young, when he was still a baby, like I think 6 months old or something. I
Hmm.
start talking about his father once in a while. So
Oh,
even
okay.
though he's a baby, he doesn't understand much, but
Oh, he
he will
does.
remember what I said. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
people think people still have the thought that when they're babies they can't talk, they wouldn't understand you, but they do understand, they remember those things. So I practiced that to him, and then I said to him, one day you will see your father. Um, he's right now not with us, but one day you will see him when time is right. So I keep on saying that to him, that his father is still alive, and one day he will see. So these things I keep on saying. When he was I think in kindergarten, yeah, our playgroup, I don't remember. He started to ask once, and I was like, oh wow, now he's asking because he saw his friend being picked up by the father,
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
why he never being picked up by the father, always me, the mother. So he has a question, so he asked mother that, okay, you will see him one day. I said, when you're ready, when he's ready. So
Does he know?
this
Does he know the truth? Does he know the whole story or no? I mean, but
of course not, I
no,
wouldn't
no.
tell him exactly what happened, but now that he's into teenager, I think about 2 years ago, he really had, because I had to travel a lot back then. When he was grade four, now he's grade six. So two
Mm-hmm.
years ago, I had to travel really a lot, intensive traveling for work. So he was pretty much left with my sister and
Mm-hmm.
his cousin. So he lived
Mm-hmm.
there, and then he felt, even though he's not alone, but he felt very lonely
Mm-hmm.
because I wasn't there.
Yeah.
Even though my sister is also like a mother to him, but
Yeah.
he felt like Mama is
It's
not
not the
here.
same. That's not the same. Yeah.
I don't have anyone. So he
Yeah.
started
Yeah.
to feel very lonely, and they do rebellious things when they have that kind of feeling, and I had to I had to go back from my business trip. Then the last business trip I had to go back early because I was called by the teacher several times when I was overseas. So,
Mm.
and then I said, okay, I said to my my boss, I said I have to go back maybe 1 or 2 days earlier because there's something that I need to take care of with my son. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
when I went back, I went to school, and then we had the talk with the teacher and demands himself, and he actually cried. He cried his ears out, saying that no one is really taking care of you. Well, we know that my sister was there,
Yeah.
and yeah,
Yeah.
he was not abandoned. It's
He
just
was he
he
was
felt very
confused
lonely.
also. He was confused.
Yeah, so he was really demanding to know about his father at that point. really demanding. Like every day he would ask me, he would he would scream at me, he would get very angry because he couldn't find his father, he couldn't see his father. And of course he blamed me for me, maybe I was the one who's really behaving badly so that he left and things like that. So yeah, at that point he really blamed me. Well, of course I was really hurt by what he was saying, but I
Of
also
course.
understood that the reason why he said that, because he couldn't get it, he couldn't understand. So I really had
Mm-mm.
to open up a little bit more the secret to him. So I told him that yeah, he left when you were 3 months old in in my tummy,
Please
and so
tell
on and
me,
so on. And yeah, but I didn't tell Dimas the reason why he left. So
so he
it's
still
just
doesn't know.
no, he doesn't. He just knew that he knows that we had an argument and then he left. That's all. So
Okay.
only until that point, and yeah. So
When do you plan on telling him anything, or you don't plan anything? You just let it happen.
just let it happen. I can't tell when, because you never know someone's maturity, and
Yeah.
both from Dimas or from his father as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
You
he's
don't know what's gonna
really,
happen. Suddenly
yeah,
he shows up,
maybe,
in front
yeah,
of your door.
he can be 60 years old when he finally came around, like, so be it, like. So I can't plan anything. It's just go with the flow, and if he asks again, I would tell the same thing, even though he gets really angry. But you've been saying that 100 times. When can you tell me the whole thing, man? When can you tell me when I can see him? He keep on asking that. But you I said to him, you can't plan, Dimas. You can't plan something that you don't know. He said. So I just have to give them the understanding of what life is about. Sometimes you are being disappointed, sometimes you're being happy and satisfied, sometimes you just have to be angry and things like that. So it's part of being a human that he has to go through. And
What
yeah,
is
and
actually your
some
reason for not telling him the truth? Are you afraid that he would hate him, his the father? Um,
yeah, I don't want to be, I don't want him to uh, you know have a judgment. I don't want him to have a judgment. I want to live it in a neutral way, so then when he finally one day see him, then he can judge himself. He must
okay.
can judge
You don't
his
want to
father
be the
himself.
one to give him
No,
like
I don't
the
want.
reason to judge. Okay.
No, I don't want, because then it would be very siding. Even though
Mm-hmm.
he doesn't live with us, I have the whole right, the whole time to do it,
Yeah.
to make him side with me. But I think it's not fair for him to be brainwashed by me that his father is an evil one that left us and blah blah blah. So
Well, maybe you can also say that his father is also a victim of the society that is not wise of his own choice. Could be that, don't you think?
mm, I don't know. I just
Well,
think that it's something that he actually could have decided himself.
yeah.
So I think the decision itself
So you
can't
don't want
be
to
from
cover
him.
anything up.
You know.
But in the situation like this, there are family with both parents all together. There are family with split parents. There are family like in your situation, or even the father taking care of the children without the picture of the mother. Do you see the advantage of the experience of a child such as Dimas in your situation compared to other typical family that is actually additional strength, or additional, it's something that is actually an advantage based on his life experiences.
One advantage that I see from him is that he's more independent,
Uh,
uh, very much independent compared to all the kids his age.
yeah.
He pretty much can do anything himself.
Mm-hmm.
If for example I have to leave him at home for a day,
Mm-hmm.
working, like leaving in the morning and coming back at night, he will be able to take care of himself. Well,
Mm-hmm.
of course, I cook for him and prepare everything, but he will be able to take care of himself. But the disadvantage for this situation also, that he still looking. He missed that figure of father figure in his life. He is looking, and uh,
How do you
he
fulfill that?
sometimes um sometimes I use my friends, my male friends,
Mm-hmm.
like, you must go with him, go with Om ini, Om itu,
Mm-hmm.
and let him to be with them for an hour or 2 hours, so at least he can experience things, that he doesn't experience with me. And also, back then when my father was still alive, he spent when we were in Jakarta, they spent a lot of time together. They kind of building the bonding there, and I think it's
Mm-hmm.
good for him. It's good for my father also back then, because he felt that, oh my God, I have somebody I can take care of and things
Yeah,
like that,
yeah,
because
yeah, of
he couldn't
course.
take care of us anymore. We were too old. We were too
Yeah,
big
yeah,
already.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Right,
Yeah,
right. A good replacement, a beautiful replacement. And
yeah.
how do you
So
take care of yourself? All this time we're talking about Dimas. How about you? How do you take care of yourself? How do you make
uh,
yourself happy and stable and cheerful and this and that?
uh I don't know. I don't know. I just when I decided that night in church that I would take one step at a time,
Mm-hmm.
I made a promise to myself that I will not push myself into the place where I feel uncomfortable. I feel that I was being way too much trying to achieve too much or too high expectation and things like that. So I would take one step at a time. So that's what I've been doing for the last 12 years
Mm-hmm.
now, and
Mm-hmm.
and that gives me a sense of security, sense of peace, and yeah, by having that, I feel like, okay, I can do many things. I can go for um, hashing, tracking. I can still work. I can still, do teaching while I have to do consulting as well. So I do a lot of things, and somehow my life is always filled up with activities, as you know. And
Oh yeah.
even though
Yeah,
during
you're a
during
woman with
this
no belly button, don't you?
during
Yeah.
during this pandemic time, I found out that I have a passion of making bread and baking bread. Like,
No.
something I never thought myself doing. Like,
Do you still sell a lot of breads? You still do? You still
yeah,
do? Oh my
yes,
God.
I do.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
so it's just, I sometimes I really don't have time to think of uh something that's really not necessary, something that really um that makes me down, makes me sad, or something like that. I sometimes I couldn't find the time even to think about myself,
Mm-hmm.
which is actually not good. Yeah,
Mm.
you have to at one point,
You do.
really make time for yourself and listen to your own voice.
Right.
But I think for the last 12 years I couldn't find time. It's just, even though when I was traveling, they say when you as a mother doing a business travel, you would find more time for yourself. You will enjoy yourself more and things like
No,
that. But
it doesn't work that way because you leave your
it doesn't
mind
work.
with your kid.
Not with kids, not always thinking about the child, but things about work, things about, oh, I want to see that, I want to see this. When I went to Vietnam, I want to see that, I want to experience this. Oh, take me there, take me to that place. I want to do that, to do this. Always have a lot of things that I wanted to do.
Mm.
So that's when I have my me time. So yeah, I never really had time to really sit down and, oh, my life is so miserable. Things like that. I couldn't find the time for doing
Yeah,
that.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So,
You
which is
cannot,
good, and
which
in a
is
way
good.
that
Yeah,
is
you're
good.
too busy to that for that. Yeah.
Yeah,
But
but it's just sometimes I have to listen to myself and maybe, I don't know, cry, or I don't know.
cry is good, but sometimes we're even losing tears. We don't even know what to cry about. We're just like tired, even too tired to
Yeah.
cry. Too tired to
Oh yeah.
cry.
I had that moment where I really, I call it a breakdown moment.
Oh yeah.
Um, that is when I moved to the house that I bought, and then um, during that period of transition and then settling down into the new house, and then suddenly we have an issue with water supply in
Oh,
this area where I live. So we didn't have water supply for 3 months. Imagine
oh
that.
my goodness.
So it was just, well, really, really breaking down, because then I have to every day I have to make sure that we have water. We sometimes we will leave the house at 6 o'clock in the morning before, because Dimas has to go to school. 6 o'clock in the morning, and then we went to my office. We had shower, we had breakfast there, and then take him to school. And then after school, he came back, went back to the office, and then we will stay until around 6, so we could have dinner there at
Are you there? I cannot see you. Are you there? Hmm. Okay, I may just see if she can come back. Come on. Oh well. Yeah, that's the story of her. For those of you who have understood the culture of Indonesia, yes, we live in a very diverse culture with people with so many cultural backgrounds, hundreds of languages, hundreds of uh, cultures, but yet, sadly speaking, there are still gap between the they would call it the like the Chinese people, Arabic people, and the people. Indonesians are actually mixed because we have a history of living with so many people from all over the world. So there's no reason to say that we are only one culture. But in the story of Lala, a friend of mine, a very dear friend of mine, you can see how it shaped her into the person she is now. And now she's back. Hi, you're back. Can you hear me?
Hi, I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's
I am back.
okay.
Yes.
That's okay. But we're still recording. We're still recording. But anyway,
Oh, so you were talking. Dimas is here. He just finished with his dinner. Say hi.
Mercy. Hey, darling. So how was it? Did you finish the soup?
Did you finish your soup?
Yes, Mama.
Yes,
Mama.
Mama. I'm so happy. They must.
Ah.
Oh, that's very sweet. Let's just pray that things get better so I can go to Bali to see you again. Okay. So yeah, we cannot. Yeah, really want to see you
He's a
again.
teenager now.
He is. He's 11. My goodness. My God, you're a big boy. And Baina now she's 17 and she's got driver license already. So she drives. Baina is already big. Baina is big. So next time you come here, Baina will come and pick you up at the airport. So she can
Oh,
drive. So
nice.
she can drive you around, yeah?
He's almost as tall as me now. Dimas.
Dimas is? Really? Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Like this
Oh,
tall. Yeah, my
oh,
ear.
my height then. Get up, I want to see you.
Huh?
Get up, I want to see you. My height. Oh,
Susah, sempit.
susah, very hard. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Well, okay. I
Okay,
think
I give you more time. He asked you for more time for his gadget, for his phone.
okay.
Mau
It
berapa
doesn't
menit?
happen. Mau berapa
15 menit
menit?
ya? What? How many minutes? Hah? Of course not 1 jam. 30 menit.
30 minutes.
Deal?
Deal.
Oke.
Bye, dear.
Aduh, jangan ditarik.
Ya, ya,
Oke, say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Cinta.
You don't play Free Fire, okay? You already played 2.5 hours. Ah. Because I'm using a parent link for his phone,
Oh.
so it will it
Limit
will
him.
turn off his phone when he reach certain hours or when it reach
Oh.
a certain time. So he
Oh,
spent
okay.
already 5.5 hours on his gadget. So, can you see?
Aduh. Oh my God,
So that's why it's red.
5
It's red,
minutes.
and it's already turned off. His phone is
Oh,
turned off
gitu.
now.
Oh, I see. Oh my
Yeah, so
goodness.
I
I
have to
don't.
give bonus time here.
Oh,
So
okay, okay,
how
okay.
many minutes I want to give?
Oh, okay, okay. Do you have to pay for that?
No,
You don't have
it's
to pay for that.
a
It's
free
just a
ad.
limit. Oh, free. Okay.
Mm.
But within, let me
So,
ask you one last question. Is there anything else you would
oh,
have changed differently? Would you would have done differently from the story? Because it seems like it shaped you. I mean, when we were in high school, we didn't even know what we were doing, right? We didn't even know what we were doing. Things were just like we're like so confident with our own character, but along the way, we have to shape ourselves into different roles, and changing ourselves. I mean, but is there anything you would have done differently?
I don't know. I couldn't think of anything actually. I don't know because I think all the decision that I've made, all the things that I've done is actually leading me into a certain purpose where we are right now, and I think uh, it's for the better, for the better of us. And I don't see any things uh, I could have done better, or I could have done it differently. I couldn't see anything.
Kan setiap orang, every soul has their own apa ya, tujuan hidup. Every soul has their own
Life
purpose of life.
purpose.
Yeah, purpose
Yeah.
of life. What do you think the purpose of life of Dimas? You were chosen to be his mother because this kid has something big for him to do.
Mm.
Can you picture him doing something big? Which possibly can give you strength to keep on going, But because it's not just about raising him and feeding him and sending him to school and building good characters, but I believe that kids in unique situation, they have outstanding purpose of life. But how do you
Yeah.
knowing your son's character? How can you picture anything?
Uh, I have no idea what he will be. But I do believe that he has. I think it also comes from the way I brought him up. He has a very strong drive in, um, I think, protecting his friends. And whenever he saw someone is being bullied, he would stand up and fight for them. And whether it's fight physically, because he's done that,
Oh my.
or fight emotionally, like, because right now they don't meet each other, but somehow they got into an argument in the WhatsApp group, and because one was being bullied, so he was trying to be the middle person, but then ending up that he was being uh, isolated by the rest because he was siding with the one who's being bullied. So I would see him to be a person one day that would really raise his voice when something is not right, when
Hmm.
something needs to be corrected.
Mhm.
when I don't know, maybe he could be a politician one day. Oh my God.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
Oh, he could be
We
a
need somebody
he could be a
who stands up
lawyer
for
or
us.
a
Well, does he
huh?
argue well? Does he argue well when you argue with
Oh
him?
yeah, he does. Oh yes, he does. And sometimes I lost words. Sometimes I just have to repeat myself just to make sure I have the last word. Because I forget what do I say
And then
now.
at the end we say, because I'm your mother, that's why. Yeah, that's our closest argument. Because I'm your mother,
Yeah,
and
you still live with me. You live in this
yeah,
house. You
yeah,
follow the
yes.
rules. That's
And
it.
live under
So
my
pretty
roof,
much
you
it's
follow.
actually yeah. I think that's always like most of the time would be the final word. But yeah, I try not to use that often because I don't want
Because you don't
him
want him to say
to
the same thing to you back when we're old, and then we're like useless and selfless and helpless, and then he will say, "Mother, you did."
please send me to the nursing home, please. Don't let me stay with my son.
I know, I know. Well, but oh yeah, yeah. Speaking of nursing home,
We had that we had that plan, no?
we do have that plan. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we do have a plan to live close to each other, four of us, so we can share food. Because because I mean, have you thought about how you're going to spend your old time when is it with or without them? It does scare me. It does scare me too.
I think I still very much trying to convince myself that I will have to let him go at certain age. When he's maybe
Hmm.
finished with his university or his college, or when he has his job, then I would really have to let him go. And if he wants to live outside of the house, so be it. Or if he still wants to live here, that's okay, but he has to make that choice. And if he decided to move to somewhere else, beside Bali or beside Indonesia, that's his choice as well. He can do that. I don't want to be the person who really clinging to him when he's supposed to spread his wings.
Do you imagine
So
ever? Have you ever imagined him bringing a girlfriend home? And how
yeah.
would you react? How would you react? I mean, because I have a son, and I can tell from my experience that I'm very picky about the girls that he brings home. Like, my son is not perfect, but no girls is even better. I mean, I'm just like I'm
You're
not
bad.
being rational. I'm not being practical. I'm being a very bee mother. I mean, just because I mean, especially you. I mean, after all that you've gone through, raising Dimas like that. I mean, even I do that kind of terrible things to all his
Yeah.
girlfriends.
You're bad.
I'm not ashamed of saying that. I mean, it's just who I am. So, I mean,
Yeah,
it's a very
well,
special category, special.
I actually, you know what? I think it's starting in grade two or grade three. I don't remember. Where they have this. We call it cinta monyet. Yeah,
Mm.
he likes someone, like a girl, and
Grade
then he said,
3?
"Okay, yeah."
Grade 3 ya?
He's still
Kok
very
gue TK
young.
loh. Nah, terus
Dia kelas 2
kita
kayaknya.
monyet
I
gue
think
mah
second
TK.
grade.
Terus,
Nah, and he told me that he likes this girl. So I tried, okay, which one? And then he showed me which one because I have pictures from the class and things like that. So he showed this one. I said, okay, how does she look like? How does she behave? What do you do? And then yeah, at one point I found a secret letter inside his bag. It was so cute.
oh my god, terus.
He
Lucu
was so
banget.
cute, and I encouraged him to because then the friends will make fun of someone who likes someone.
Yeah.
Hey, yeah, when we're
Yeah,
kids we
yeah,
do
yeah.
the
I
same
can see
thing,
that,
and
yeah.
so but I said to him, it's normal for someone to like someone, and
Mm-mm.
at one point all your friends will like someone too, so it's
Mm.
normal. Of course, it's not something that's easy for them to digest at that age. So when they were about 8 or 9 years old. So then when I think it was when he was grade 5, he had this intense crush on one of the girl, and well, the letter that I found on his back quite a lot. So like back and forth letter, like small piece of paper, like you write here and then you give it, and she wrote there, and then you give it back to him, and then
Mm-mm.
you keep on writing on the same piece of paper.
Did that
So
scare you? No?
no, no, it actually excite me
Oh,
because I said,
really?
oh, yeah, I feel like, okay, Dima, so what do you need? Well, how do you behave in front of her? So I try to be the person who can coach
Oh,
him to
that's
be a
cool.
better man one day, to one day if he has a girlfriend. And then one day I went to his school because I had to pick him up, and then they were all outside, including that girl, and with a group of friends. So when I pick him up, you know, all the other kids they say, Tante, 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 you must like this girl, and this girl likes him, so they like each other. They started to make fun of it. I said, hey, stop, everyone. I said, stop, kids. Yeah, it's normal for someone to like someone. It's normal.
Yeah,
You will do the
yeah,
same. So I try
yeah,
to give them the lecture right
yeah,
then in a
yeah.
fun way, and then so
Mhm.
then also to save the embarrassment from these two
Yeah.
to students,
Uh-uh.
you shouldn't make fun of it. You should be okay if you like each other, go ahead. You can be together. Like not to certain point, but
Is she
at
like
least
you?
they can.
Is the girl like you?
uh she's very cerewet.
But she is like it.
No, not really. I'm not very talkative. I just talk much. I'm not very talkative.
Is there any similarities in this girl with you? Can you see the
I
pattern?
think so. I think so. He's very energetic with he chats like he's very chat. She's very chatty, like like a firecracker. She's not very girly type. She's like would jump around, and she plays with the boys. She plays soccer as well. But the first girl that I knew, my son had crush on, she's very girly, very calm, very not very talkative, very very quiet.
Okay.
Because
But he didn't
I said
like her too much, as much as this one.
I think it went on only for about 6 or 7 months or one semester kind of,
Oh, really?
because
Wow,
we
that's so.
invited her on his birthday. We invited everyone, so I
Oh.
asked him which one is that, because from the picture I can't tell which one is the girl.
Mm.
And then he showed me that one. Mama I said, okay. Oh wow, she's wearing skirt and have this little bag hanging on the side, like very very girly, like oh wow. That's very different from me. I was like, oh wow. But then when he was grade 4, or yeah, 5, I think, say 4 or 5, 4, late 4, uh, this girl that he likes very much was totally different.
Totally
She's
different. Maybe
very
the first one was
chatty.
like the normal picture of a girl that he thinks he should like, not really the one that he really has his own taste of. Yeah, kan?
Maybe, yeah. Not sure. But
So
they just play along actually,
well,
with his stages of liking him. And so, but now if I ask, do you like anyone from the school? I said, no, I don't have anyone. Maybe he really doesn't. But if I pick through his WhatsApp, because I still monitor that just in case,
mhm.
I see he's trying to still get in touch with this girl that he liked so much before, but the girl is not very responsive. So okay, fine. You learn how to be rejected, and you learn how to
Yeah,
bounce
yeah,
back
yeah,
from there.
yeah,
Just
yeah, yeah. True,
not to be
true.
broken heart. But he's very adamant. He's like pursuing, like at least every 2 or 3 days he send a message like, hi, how are you, what
Oh,
are you
oh yeah, well,
doing?
he's quite wow. Well, he's doing a good job as a man. He's a hunter. So
Yeah.
you raise him well. So basically, God, the thing is,
I mean, like when I saw that, like, oh my god, what did I do?
but
Oh
it
my god.
means though that eventually, at the end of the day, we will have a daughter-in-law that's pretty much like us. Because most of
You think so?
the boys will look similar. So yeah, there
Yeah.
will be another challenge. Let's not think about it first because that makes me scared. I mean, you know, I I I'm not as cool as you are when it comes to that. Well, okay. Well, we've been talking for like more than an hour. Wow, it's so
Yay.
good. It's so
Wow.
good talking to you. It's so good. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm
You're
really
most
hoping.
welcome.
I'm really hoping. I've been making this clips. Yeah, I've been making these videos, and I can see how there are people who need to see the video, happen to see the video, and they can relate to
Mm,
that. And another,
mm,
so I'm just hoping also that those who know someone in your situation or similar situation, or even them, experiencing the situation themselves, they can see the strength that you've been earning day by day. So they can see lots of
yeah.
hope in there, lots of hope in there. And not to mention that one day Dimas will see this video also by the time when time is right. So maybe
Yeah.
that's one way of him understanding your point of view and where you stand.
Mm,
How you've been trying so hard not to judge life, not only his life, not only his father, but you try so hard not to judge life. Yeah. So it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing.
no, it's not. But
Tell me about it.
you learn it through experience. You become stronger by experience, and yeah, you find a way where you can juggle things, where you can find your way that really suits you, that really suits your situation and condition. Of course, there are a lot of breakdown moments, maybe things that I don't remember anymore, but things that make us stronger, things or events or things that makes us the way we are right now.
So it's not like we cannot plan anything. It's about we have no choice sometimes. We just like we have
Yeah,
no choice. We just
yeah.
live
Well,
with.
life for us is already planned by someone high up there, and we just have to be strong enough to live with it and to go through it and learn as much as possible from that. Yeah,
And it
sometimes.
will pass. It will pass.
Yeah, and the storm will always pass and will come another storm even stronger. There's always a stronger storm coming in, so you just have to be ready when it comes and hits you. Like, okay, here we go. Just enjoy the ride
Yeah,
and
yeah,
being thrown
yeah.
back and forth, get bruises and things like that. And then
I,
when you
I did I
see
did
the
talk I did talk to
sun.
him some yesterday or something. I don't remember. And she said
Okay.
the only ways of us to deal with it is actually to find small things that we can collect to make us happy. Small things
Mm,
because we have no other choice but just to have a peaceful life. And life sometimes doesn't give us that option. They give us problems, and there's always another
yeah. I always think that problems or challenge always comes to cheer us up, because if life is too easy and everything is perfect, it will be so boring that you want to die.
thing. Then you're just being too hard on yourself, though, because you're a tough person.
I don't know. I just feel like when things is so settling down so smoothly and no challenge, I feel like, okay, what should I do? What should I?
Mm-mm.
I become
Maybe
restless. I
we're
become,
addicted to problems.
oh my god, don't. I want to have some peace as well.
Doesn't sound
I
well.
want to, I want to see myself one day. To at this moment I don't have any partner. Like I don't have boyfriends. I don't have a partner. But I would like to
But
see one day when
you're
I'm.
opening yourself for possibilities, though, right?
Yeah, of course. I don't close any doors. I
Yeah,
never close any
yeah, of
door.
course, yeah.
Uh, but it's just maybe like you also mentioned a couple of times, during our sharing session
Mm-hmm.
through WhatsApp, that because I'm so into a lot of things and I don't have time for myself. This also doesn't allow anyone to see me as a
Yeah.
woman, like yeah, but maybe one day, just don't know when. when the time is right, when the time comes, and then it comes. I just feel that way.
Yeah. Well, as long as what my mother always says, you just do things right because the right thing will come to you. So
Yeah.
if it hasn't come to you, then it must be not the right thing. That's all.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe in that.
So I'm
I
glad
believe in that.
I'm glad we have each other. I'm glad we it's just
Oh yes.
from the four of us, none of us is actually living a very smooth life. So it means 100% of the people in the population doesn't have a smooth life. That's well proven, yeah.
No, they
So
sometimes they pretend to.
yeah,
They
unless they
pretend to be
pretend
in
to.
a
Right,
yeah.
right. But this is the
Yeah.
very well. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you, Gordon. I think I will just wrap up
Most welcome.
and I'll just stop the recording, but I'll keep talking to you because yeah, let me just
Broadcast.
okay, let me just stop the recording. Hang on 1 second.